I watch from a distance, in the cover of the woods, my eyes completely fixated on the scene of chaos in front of me. It's a gory sight, a sight so gory that even the bravest of hearts would have to suspend their bravery for a little while to throw up, just before they continue with their bravery. The sight in front of me was once a campsite of happy hikers, but now it is the scene of a massacre, a pool of blood, broken bodies, and littered body parts. There are people lying about, humans, killed so gruesomely that even the imagination of the wickedest hearts would be unable to conceive of how gruesome it is. The first responders are on site now, and they're scurrying about, checking for survivors. They find one soon. His organs are seeping out through a tear on his abdomen, and he is lying in a pool of his own blood. It takes one look at him for the ranger to know that they would be unable to help him. I mean, what can they do? Except they'd discovered ways to build a new human being from scratch. Its case is hopeless. Slowly, one of the rangers kneel close enough to him, trying to see what he can extract from the situation. The police are on their way, the ranger says, but we are about to mobilize a search party to comb through the woods in case the killer is still nearby, although we doubt that. To this regard, what can you give us by way of information? Who did this? The ranger tries to extract some information. The dying man looks at him, then splutters blood from his mouth when he tries to talk. Talk to me. Help us out. Can you remember the face of the person who did this? The ranger asks again, and the man continues to struggle. After a while, he begins to ease a speech. He had no face. The man says, and then takes his last breath. The ranger stands up just as some policemen arrive at the scene. What can you tell us, rangers? The head of the police unit begins a conversation, and the ranger that had spoken to the dying man relates the man's words to the police officer. The killer had no face. The policeman barfs. You know that can't be. And there was, then you know what they say, no face, no case. The police officer nonetheless begins to mobilize his men. From where I am hidden, I smile, and then slowly retreat into the darkness of the woods, unable to be found. The dying man didn't lie though, for I am him that has no face, him that lusts endlessly for blood. Having been birthed and raised 2 cities away by the most vicious killer of her time, I have no choice but to accept this as my destiny. My mother in her prime was the most pristine killer that existed, and she just like me had no face. She found her passion in violence and mastered the act of converting murder to fine art. Back in her time, she would stake out 2 people who were in the company of each other, and then kill one of them while the other watched helplessly. And when the survivor was questioned amidst heavy trauma, they would always reply the killer had no face. And they were right, although the authorities always found it hard to believe. For just like me, my mother was without a face. It became an unsolvable mystery, an occurrence that defied all the explanations of logic and science, a track record of mysterious murders that were unable to be outdone by any other criminal that existed in her time. The only person who ever surpassed her vicious streak was me, her son, the faceless baby that has now become the faceless adult, the killer that cannot be found because he has no identity. My mother liked the clandestine and the subtle approach, sort of like a slow, sensuous blues music. She would kill one at a time and vanish. Me? I like the dramatic and the theatrical approach, sort of like a loud, abrasive metal music. Why kill one when I can leave a massacre? Why be careful and evasive when I can be bold and catastrophic? This is me, the killer without the face, and so, no face, no case.